Hello everyone! Been a little bit since I made a video. Surprised? I'm not. So I just want to get straight into what this video is about. I don't want to waste any time talking. So if you're curious as to why my channel is no longer about books, then go check out a video I did a few months ago. I think it's called like Where I've Been or something like that, and it explains everything that you need to know about why I'm no longer focusing on books at this channel and more talking about movies and filmmaking and things like that. So a lot has happened in my life over the last 6 or 7 months. I recently turned 16, got my own car, got my driver's license, which is crazy, and if all goes according to plan, by the end of this summer I will be going into my senior year of high school because I'm graduating a year early. So lots of crazy stuff going on. And this year for my birthday, instead of just trying to figure out what do I want for my birthday, I just was like, alright, you know what, I'm just gonna go for it and ask for only movies, because really at the moment that's what I'm interested in. Now a lot of these movies are movies that I've seen before, but also a lot of them are movies that I just hear really great things about, or they're classics, and so I wanted to get to them so I could learn more about what made cinema what it is today. I promise it's a lot less pretentious than it sounds. So most of these are Blu-rays that I got for my birthday, and a lot of them are ones that I bought for myself. So let's just get right into it. Starting off this list, this is not a movie, but it is Stranger Things Season 1 in this super awesome Target exclusive edition. This is the only reason that I really wanted this. Obviously, I love the show, it's amazing. This packaging is so awesome. It's made to look like it is like an old VHS and the discs are in here, but like the old cardboard thing, it has a little price tag on it. So cool, so creative, and that's the main reason why I got this, because you know the show's on Netflix and I have Netflix, so really the only reason I got it is for this awesome packaging. But yeah, that's the first thing. And I forgot, there actually are some movies that I got before my birthday, and those are Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi, all on Blu-ray. I didn't have these on Blu-ray before, but there's something special about these editions, and that is that they are the Despecialized edition. Now you ask yourself, what is the Despecialized edition? I'm not going to go into it here because it would take a second to explain. If you want to know what it is, Google it, YouTube it, you'll find out a lot of what you need to know. Basically, this is the original Star Wars trilogy, how they were when they were released in theaters, and have no digital alterations, no CGI, no nothing that was added after they were released in theaters. And they are totally awesome. I'm not really going to say a lot about these movies because otherwise this video would be super long, just kind of going to give you initial thoughts on the movies. First up we got Sicario, which is a fantastic movie, really just dropped a lot of movies. So Sicario is really good. It's really dark, but it's really good. Kind of about the cartel in Mexico, things like that. Awesome movie. Then we have No Country for Old Men, which I have not seen, but I've heard great things about, directed by the Coen brothers. This will be my first Coen brothers movie, and I'm very excited. Next we have Fantastic Mr. Fox. This is a stop-motion animation movie directed by Wes Anderson, who I've never seen any of his movies, so this will also be my first movie directed by him. It just looks really cool and like whimsical. Cannot wait to see it. And we have 3:10 to Yuma, which is a western with Christian Bale, Russell Crowe. This movie is just awesome. I watched it a few months ago, and it's awesome. It's one of my favorite westerns, and I don't have anything else to say about it. It's just awesome. Next up we have There Will Be Blood, directed by Paul Thomas Anderson, starring Daniel Day-Lewis, and I have to say, this is probably the greatest acting performance I've ever seen in my life. Daniel Day-Lewis is a completely different person in this movie, and as someone who is kind of an aspiring actor, it's an amazing movie to watch. Next up we have 10 Cloverfield Lane, which is a great contained thriller. I've started to realize that's kind of my favorite genre at the moment, just contained thrillers that are really not big in scale, but just really awesome tension-filled movies, and that's exactly what this is. Next we have Source Code with Jake Gyllenhaal. This is a really short like action thriller. It's no longer than it needs to be. And it's pretty good. I didn't love it, but definitely worth watching. Then I have 2 David Fincher movies here. I have Seven, which is one of the movies he's most well known for. I absolutely love this movie. It's so dark and gritty. I felt like taking a shower after finishing this movie just because it's so dark, but it is an incredible crime, thriller, drama, just absolutely amazing, and the ending is so famous for good reason. The other David Fincher film I got is Zodiac, which I actually saw before Seven. It's another crime drama thriller, but it is a real life story about the Zodiac killer, and it is incredible. Jake Gyllenhaal, Robert Downey Jr., Mark Ruffalo do an amazing job in this, and I cannot recommend this movie enough. Next up we have Whiplash, which I have not seen, but I cannot wait to. I've been wanting to see this movie ever since it came out, and I'm just now getting around to it. I can't wait to watch this. There's so much hype around this movie, but from what I've seen, it's very much well deserved. Next up, we have one of my favorite movies of all time, that is Nightcrawler, starring Jake Gyllenhaal. Talk about a great performance. This guy turns into a completely different person, and I just love everything about this movie. When I saw it, it quickly became one of my favorites of all time. Now we're getting down to the last few Blu-rays that I got. First one is Close Encounters of the Third Kind, which I'm gonna come out and be honest, not a fan. Not a fan at all. Had some great scenes that I really liked, but overall, I hated the main character. There was a really forced romance there at the end, and I totally just thought he was a jerk. I read into it a little bit, and I watched the theatrical version. The director's cut is also on here, and I've heard the director's cut improves, so I'm a little bit curious to see what that's like and see if it is better. But at the moment, I just really don't have the desire to watch this movie again. Again, some cool elements, but overall, not a fan. And another Steven Spielberg classic that for some reason I have not seen yet, that is Jaws. I know, weird, I haven't seen it. It's one of those movies that there's so much hype around it that I'm a little bit nervous to see it, just in case I'm like that one person that's like, oh yeah, it's good, but I don't love it. Again, very excited to see this. It's a classic. I gotta see it. And these last movies are all done by the same director, my favorite director of all time, Christopher Nolan. Most of these were movies of his that I already had on DVD, but upgraded to Blu-ray either because they were just a great price or I just felt like I needed them on Blu-ray. The first one is Interstellar, which I already had on DVD. This is a movie that people really seem to either love or hate, and there's a few people that just like it, but I'm a part of the group that loves this movie. There are some issues with it, especially with the way the movie wraps up. But overall, it doesn't bring the experience down for me. I love this movie. Next up is Inception, which I also had on DVD. But this movie, when I saw it, this is what put Nolan on the map for me, and it just blew my mind. I remember this is one of the few movies that I watched it one night and then the next morning I woke up and watched it again because it was so good. And the second to last movie that I got is the Dark Knight trilogy on Blu-ray. Again, had this on DVD, but I'm just one of those people and I had to get it on Blu-ray. I really hate it when movies come in box sets. For whatever reason, my OCD likes seeing them on the shelf as individual movies. I really wish these were in individual cases, but you know, doesn't bring the movies down at all. Obviously, this includes Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight Rises. All great movies. Dark Knight is probably the best, and I will say I didn't think it was my favorite until I recently rewatched it. I gotta say, it's my favorite. And then the last Blu-ray that I have is the only Christopher Nolan movie that I have not seen, and that is Insomnia. This was his third movie, and it's probably his least talked about movie, so I'm very curious to see what I think about it. And that was all the Blu-rays that I got. And I never really understood the difference between DVDs and Blu-ray until I YouTubed it one time, and I don't know why I've been buying DVDs for the last few years of my life, because Blu-ray is such an improvement over DVD. If you're one of those people that doesn't understand, just YouTube DVD Blu-ray comparison, you'll see the difference and you'll never want to watch a DVD again. Very sorry for not posting recently, but you know, life happens. And I just don't know what you guys are interested in seeing from me. I don't know what types of videos to make, but I figured I'd make this one just because maybe there are some of you that would like to see Blu-rays that I recently got. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys the next time that I see you.